I want to start today's show by asking you a very simple but loaded question. When did former Prime Minister Raila Odinga start his campaigns in central Kenya, Mount Kenya region? Now I can hear somebody shoot back very confidently. Chris and Raisi, alianza last month. September ikianza. Well, that answer is wrong. Actually, it started in the year 2020, last year, early in the year. But let me focus on the evidence which is linked to our topic today. So let me focus on evidence that proves actually he was very busy on the Mount Kenya region affair in January 2021. Actually, to be precise, January 11th, 2021. Now, just be patient with me. All this is linked to Raila's choice. What Raila's choice for deputy president must be, has to be. And by the way, that deputy candidate is not from Central Province. No. But he's being chosen. He's being earmarked for this position. Has everything to do with the Mount Kenya region. So just be patient. Let's go step by step so that we understand this completely. On January 12th this year, Raila Odinga hosted a group calling itself Team One Nation. And that group was led by a man very well known to older Kenyans, a man called Maina Njenga, associated of course with the notorious Mungiki. Most of my analyst colleagues of course didn't think that was a significant event. So they gave it a blackout. I didn't. I really focused on it because I saw how significant it was to 2022. We were told at the time that this was a group consisting of young people from every corner of the nation, whose objective was to go around educating Kenyans on the benefits of the BBI. At the time, if I can remind you, Team Tangatanga and the Deputy President had successfully locked out the BBI from Central Province. They had convinced the House of Mumbi, a majority of them, that the BBI was not good for them, which in my opinion was an amazing feat. And people should never underestimate the Deputy President and his abilities, because this is clear evidence. Huyu mtu sio mchezo. Because sample this. Out of all regions in the country called Kenya, Central Province, the Mount Kenya province, stood to gain the most had the BBI gone through. It would have meant more constituencies for them. It would have meant more money for them, etc., etc. How can that be negative to the people in the region? But then, of course, this is politics. Everything runs on emotions. And your ability to drum up, incite emotions in the electorate or in a target audience and get them to agree with you 100% on what you want them to agree with you on. No matter how ridiculous, no matter how false that particular thing is. And it is the same worldwide, not just in Kenya. Because I can tell you a lot of things that the American electorate in the last presidential elections failed to see or were convinced by emotions to believe, which was totally false. Anyway, the whole objective was for Team One Nation to go into the Mount Kenya region and change the narrative. Now, for keen observers, of the Kenyan political scene, you will have noticed since February, Mount Kenya started changing. Yes, there was still visibly a lot of support for the deputy president, but things started changing. His support in the region started reducing. Part of the credit for that must go to the Team One Nation and a man called Maina Njenga, who is a guru at mobilizing the youth. We'll come back to him as an individual later on. Just be patient. I'll prove to you why he's a guru at that. And in this political contest, the deputy president has been feeling the heat. And that is why recently, while he was in Nakuru, the name Mungiki came up. Just listen in for a second to what he said.
To tell my friend, Bwana Tinga, those you have contracted, the chairman of Mungiki and the former member of parliament of Molo, who are today preaching hate and division and ethnicity in your podiums, we want to tell you Kenya is not ready for that kind of politics of violence and division and the politics of hate. If you have no agenda to sell to the people of Kenya, don't sell to us fear. Don't sell to us ethnicity. Don't sell to us division. Don't sell to us hate. We have come of age and we will never buy fear from your podium.
Now, that should be a very clear sign to anybody who wants to analyze Kenyan politics accurately and without emotions, that whatever it is Raila is doing, it is effective and it is causing the deputy president sleepless nights. It is causing him to feel the heat. And that is why he uttered those words that you've just heard him uttering. Now we're going step by step, so that we all completely understand what is happening here. Because this is chessboard politics, unraveling. And if you can't read a small move back a small pawn, you'll not be able to get the bigger picture. It'll be impossible. Now the next thing I want us to understand is that the battle for Mount Kenya is no longer a simple matter of just who will get the most votes, but it is a very complex affair. Actually, what Raila Odinga has done is that he has changed the ground rules in his favor. And I'm very sure at some point, DP Ruto will respond. But currently, he is yet to respond effectively. That is the truth. Now, what Raila has done is that he has simply gone into the Mount Kenya region and addressed their fears and what they want. Very simple. Or at least initially it looks very simple. So, what do people in Mount Kenya want? They want peace, especially in the Rift Valley. And the people of Mount Kenya are very smart. Whatever you think about them, they're sharp. And they know that peace is going to be very elusive if the politics goes wrong. Yeah, they've been on the receiving end many times as a result of the politics going wrong. Yeah, they have learned. So one of their major concerns is a simple question. What happens to members of the House of Mumbi who live in the Rift Valley in case Deputy President William Samoei Ruto loses the 2022 presidential elections? What will happen in the Rift Valley? Because the truth is, nobody will tell you, nobody will speak it out. But the truth is, the people of the Mount Kenya region are sure and they believe that if Deputy President William Samoei Ruto wins the presidency, there will be peace in the Rift Valley. That's what they believe. And even those members of the House of Mumbi who reside outside the Rift Valley, in Central Province, have relatives in the Rift Valley. And so this is really an issue for the entire community. And so the Deputy President's camp started losing momentum when Raila Odinga presented his plan, still not made public, but presented his plan to the Mount Kenya region on how another candidate like himself can win the presidency in 2022, meaning that Deputy President William Samoei Ruto loses his presidential bid in 2022, and there'll still be peace in the Rift Valley. What I can tell you is that that plan is elaborate, and that plan is convincing. You look at it and you're convinced, yes, this will work. By the way, that was what the meeting with Mount Kenya billionaires the other day, when they met with Raila, was all about. I think now things are starting to get clearer. Now let's put on our thinking caps for a minute. If Raila Odinga decides to have his running mate from the Mount Kenya region, will that contribute to peace in the Rift Valley after Raila wins? Of course not. And so, it has to be part of the plan. Raila has no option. It is extremely important that the presidential team of Raila for 2022 must have the running mate, the deputy president, somebody from the Rift Valley. Now, this is wisdom from long time ago. Once upon a time, there was a king in the nation of Israel, a very famous king, called King Solomon, who was of course the son of David. King Solomon had a reputation for being very wise. Maybe the wisest man who ever lived. And during the era of Solomon, there was peace in Israel. The enemies never attacked them. There were no constant wars and battles like it was in the time of his father David. Now, one of the reasons was that one political strategy Solomon had that was extremely effective was to marry wives from the enemies of Israel. Just think about it. You want to attack the next village, and then you remember that you have relatives in that village. Yes, your daughter is married there, and she has children. Maybe even you have some uncles visiting. And now the time has come to attack. Do you think you're going to attack? No. You'll hold your peace. You'll say, I really like my nephew. I treasure my niece. If I attack, there's no guarantee of their safety. Most probably they'll lose their lives. So, tulizeni boli. Let's attack somebody else. Simple, but it works. Because it is based on human nature. So coming back to our current situation, Gideon Moi holds no sway in the Rift Valley. That is true. In any political contest between Gideon Moi and William Samoei Ruto in Central Province. DP Ruto will emerge the winner at 4 a.m. in the morning before the election has even started. That is true. However, everything changes if the next government has yet again somebody from the region, and especially when the next government has somebody from the Rift Valley but does not have anybody from Central Province. You know, since independence, the presidency, that is the president and his deputy or vice president, has never lacked somebody from Central Province. At the tail end of Moi's administration, it is true he appointed Musalia Mudavadi as vice president for about only 3 months. But I believe that doesn't count. It was such a short time. And in any case, the reason he did that, the reason why Moi was forced to do that, is that he was abandoned by his vice president from Central Province. Oh yes, George Muthengi Saitoti was not a Maasai, for your information. Anyway, I believe I've emphasized that situation clearly. So for the first time in the history of Kenya, we may not have somebody from the Mount Kenya region in the presidency. And this should be a big deal, even from those in the Rift Valley. It means going into the 2022 general elections, if my analysis is spot on, then the Kalenjin community will know for sure that whichever side wins, they are guaranteed to have somebody, one of their own, within the presidency. It should now be crystal clear why Raila Odinga must have Gideon Moi as his running mate in 2022. And indeed, the activities in our politics going on seem to confirm this. Recently, Gideon Moi announced his bid for the presidency. And as I've pointed out many times on this channel, don't get confused. These are what we call the primaries. And the whole idea is before a union, an alliance, a partnership between two candidates happens, each candidate must flex their muscles, show what they can do, show that they actually deserve to be a running mate. Yeah, because already they're presidential material. That's the whole idea. I believe the deal has already been made. Yeah, the end game is already very clear in the mind of Gideon Moi. Even as he travels around the country, trying to convince you and all Kenyans that yeye anatosha, anaweza, he can be president. Yeah, it's all part of the script. It is even possible, yeah, but a little unlikely, but possible, that OKA can nominate Gideon Moi as their presidential candidate. And then at the last minute, OKA's Gideon Moi can accept, yeah, to be the running mate of Raila. Game short, mission accomplished. Now allow me a second to drink some water, then I'll come back and conclude this. Yeah, it is the right moment. Maybe even to give you a heads up on what we have, what you're missing on the Kumekucha brand. We'll be back shortly.
Kwa sababu nimesacrifice maisha yangu kwa ajili ya Watanzania maskini.
One thing about the Kalenjin community is that they are very quick to accept reality and to go back to their shambas, to go back to work. They don't get engrossed emotionally in an issue for too long, no matter how close the issue was to their hearts. Yeah, they're very different from, for instance, the Luo community. And so you can imagine the situation where their dream of having William Samoei Ruto as president does not work out. Yeah. And they will quickly adjust. In fact, they'll adjust quicker because the winner will have one of their own as deputy president. So no problem. Very neat. And those who know Agwambo nicely will tell you immediately, this plan, this play, has Agwambo written all over it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.